Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Um, Alhamdulillah, I'm in the office of my new place where I'm staying, where my wife and I are staying, where we're living. Honestly, I just wanted to get a lot of things off my chest. I've been slowly pulling away from a lot of stuff, not being as active, and it's not like I owe anybody any explanations because I don't. But I felt like I needed to talk about something that I feel is something that many are not aware of, and I'm done being someone who's just silent about it. So this is related to this. So first off, before I get to the actual thing I'm going to talk about, something you guys got to know for those who don't already. I have autism, or otherwise known as autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. And that is a condition that means I have certain different ways that I'm wired neurologically. And it's called a spectrum disorder, so that means it's different for other people. And there's no such thing as one way to be autistic. And for me specifically, usually manifests in sometimes difficulties communicating. I'm not great with like idioms or metaphors. I take things very literally, and I am also someone who takes things sometimes personally. Also, I have very strong sensory sensibilities, so that means I can't be overwhelmed with all kinds of sounds alike, and not just sounds, but like different things that trigger, like my senses are heightened. So, what might be just a nuisance to others can be absolute torture for me. Like I can't when a microphone's giving feedback and it's very long where it goes that sound. For some, it's just annoying. For me, it actually causes me physical pain. And well, this is something I've always had. I didn't find out about it. I wasn't officially diagnosed though until I was 22 years old. And this is something that I don't say I struggle with it, I manage it. And that also means I'm not always the most social or the most, many would argue I'm not the warmest person, and it's not because I have a dislike of people. It's just that I don't process things the way others do. Sometimes even just a simple pat on the shoulder can be repulsive to me, not because of the person, but just because the way I process information is not like others. Also, like with my hands, the way I stim, it's how I am. For those who didn't really notice a lot, or maybe like I've reunited with a few childhood friends who told me that they've always sensed like there was something up. Not that there was anything wrong with me, more like it was just, yeah, Kevin's not exactly like, and I don't like using this word to describe it, but like and that's why I use air quotes, normal. I'm classified as neuroatypical. My, like with other neuroatypical conditions like ADHD, ADD, ODD, OCD, and I have ASD. And certain things can just cause me excessive anxiety, a lot of a lot of internal things. I tend to overthink a lot of things. I sometimes burden myself with things harder, and like I'm just gonna point it out here. A lot of people have this misconception that being autistic means you're not very empathetic, and that's a very false claim. We do have a lot of us who are autistic do have a deficiency of something that's called motor mirror neurons, which means it kind of manifests in a lack of immediate empathy. But once we do understand what someone's going through, we're very empathetic, sometimes more than neurotypicals.